Well, hello. Thank you for joining me. If you are on the replay, I want to thank you for being here with me. It's always a delight to be with the folks who are interested in learning more about listening. I apologize yesterday. I couldn't be on the Facebook Live. I was feeling just a tad under the weather, but today I'm feeling a little better. And I wanted to continue this whole series on listening. Listening is such a vital and extremely important skill. It's so important that it's not just about business, but it's about everything we do. And in the first few videos, I've been talking about the benefits of listening, what listening does for us, what it does for us in our businesses, everything about listening. That's what we wanted to discuss. But today, I'm going to talk about a couple of the barriers to listening that I think every single one of us struggles with. So, think about a time that you were listening to someone or you were with someone and they seemed to get frustrated. You know, they kind of walked off like as if you weren't paying attention. Well, the thing is that there are things on the inside of us or tendencies that we have that prevent us from listening well. And so I'm just going to discuss a couple of them today. And as a matter of fact, one of them is I have a little story to lead into it. Last night, I got a phone call from my daughter. I have a daughter who lives in Seattle, and she's been struggling with a major life decision that's been very difficult for her. So we've been back and forth on the phone several times talking about the implications of the decision and really me trying to help facilitate her decision making. But of course, there's always that tendency to want to tell your child what to do, what you would do, what you think they should do. Well, when she called me last night, she was very distraught, and I could hear the angst in her voice, and she was on the verge of tears, and she was talking about doing some really, really unwise things in her situation. Now, at that time, I would have been very, very tempted to talk to her about what she was telling me. But the truth of the matter is, I was aware enough to realize that what she really needed was just for me to listen, to give feedback to her based on what she was telling me. Because one of the first barriers that we have is that we overvalue talking. Yep, we overvalue talking. We think it's our job to persuade somebody to see our point of view. So we just start talking. It would have been very easy for me to let my daughter know that what she was talking about was unwise, it was very foolish, that she was talking out of a lot of emotion. And not that I'm great at this, but I've learned through the years, raising 7 kids, that the best thing to do is to let her talk about what's on her mind. And you know, the funny thing is that at the very end of the conversation, as she was beginning to unwind, she said, "Mom, and I don't even know how to make a vegetarian meal." She was having a vegetarian friend over for dinner that night. And at that point, it became appropriate for us to do some problem solving. And when all was said and done, she'd solved her own problems. Why? Because I listened. But there was that tendency to want to talk to her about the choices that she was discussing, because we overvalue talking. And that gets us into trouble in sales. You see, no one's lost a sale because they listened too much, but lots of people have lost a sale because they talked too much. Keep that in mind as we're going through this series. The other one that I wanted to talk about was that we tend to stereotype people. Have you ever met someone and you kind of looked at them based on the way they dress, and you kind of put them in a group of people? Maybe it's someone with a gentleman with a shaggy beard, long hair, kind of in jeans and a t-shirt, And so maybe at first glance, we have a tendency to think a certain way about that individual. And so in our interaction with that person, we're going to treat them as if they're going to act according to our stereotype. And the fact of the matter is, when we do that, we're prejudging and we won't listen. We won't listen. I just remember another time where my husband said, "I know what you're thinking." He couldn't hear what I was saying because he already had in his mind what he thought I was thinking about. And we do that when we're with customers as well, and with family members, but particularly customers. Maybe we think they're not interested in our product because they're being quiet, when the truth of the matter is they're really thinking about what we have to say. And so if we will be quiet, give them the opportunity to speak, they will tell us what they need, and we won't have to guess. And I'm going to tell you, it will probably be something you least expect, something they're going to tell you that's going to enable you to close that sale. Well, there are some other barriers, things like being distracted, that, cell phones, and we have so many things to distract us. Also being preoccupied with ourselves, that's another barrier to good listening. I really want to encourage you, if this is something that you feel you need help with, go ahead and comment in the chat, and I'd be happy to set some time down with you and maybe just, do a free time together where we could talk about how you could become a better listener. There's also great books out there like the one I'm reading on Becoming a Person of Influence by John Maxwell that you will find very helpful. The key to getting better at listening is you just have to practice it, right? So it's absolutely been delightful to be with you today. Thank you for watching the replay if you are on the replay. And let me know what you think about this. Is this helping you? I've been getting some wonderful feedback from one lady in particular, Colette, who's really finding this helpful, and she's sharing it with her group. And it would be meaningful to me if you're doing something like that, if you would let me know. Please follow me at facebook.com/Anna for your success. That's Anna with 2 N's. The number 4, your success, means a lot to me that you're following me here on Facebook. And tomorrow, we're going to talk about how to become a better listener. Take care. Thanks for joining me.